Okay, this is a brief gait analysis of Jonathan. The surface here we're walking on is slightly uneven, so some of that might play into it. We're going to look first at the ankles, then go up to the pelvis, and look at the stability of the pelvis. Then we'll look at the trunk, and lastly we'll look at pelvic rotation in the transverse plane. So the first thing we notice here is Jonathan is walking. We call this the sign of the toes. In terminal swing on the left, you estimate how many toes you can see, and before he makes heel strike, looks like you can see about 2 toes on the left. Comparing that to the right, right before heel strike, if he was barefoot, you can see his big toe right there. So a little more external rotation on the right. The next thing we want to look at is the hips. The hips should maintain stability as we go into single limb stance. So as the right leg swings forward, you can see there that he's got a nice little hip drop. That belt line drops down, and that is always a function of weakness here in the glute and glute medius. And so that's definitely something we should work on. He's got a little less drop in right single limb stance. The belt line stays a little more parallel there versus right there, that drop as he gets off of double limb, goes into single limb. You see that drop right there at the belt line. Boom. And that's a left glute weakness. One of the last things we'll look at here is the transverse plane of the pelvis. And when Jonathan goes into left swing phase, you see a lot of movement right there with the pelvis pivoting on the hip. And compared to right swing phase, it's more of a flexion moment versus a rotational moment. And so when you've got that excessive twist right there, a lot of times you can get a piriformis syndrome, or you can get problems in the lumbar spine, and that's a function of having a hip that's a little stiff. So some fun things to work on. Look forward to helping Jonathan with his gait. Overall, he's functional, doesn't have a ton of pain while walking, but he's getting calf pain and leg pain at the end of a day. And so some of this could potentially be related to his gait pattern.